Welcome back everyone, and today is a very special package opening because it's a blast from the past. If you've been on my channel and been watching my videos since I first began, you will know and are very familiar with the fact that I used to collect squishies. I do still have a small collection that I store under my bed of my most favorite squishies, and I pull them out every now and again to de-stress and use for their intended purpose or to display. But it has been a while since I've actually purchased squishies, and I'm not talking about the kind that you can find at the dollar store for like $1 or $2 to $5. I'm talking about the collectible and actually expensive squishies that are usually sold by brands that are very well known in the squishy community, such as iBloom, Punimaru, etc. They're the ones who made the premium squishies and kind of actually elevated the collectability of these. I don't want to call them toys because YouTube's going to flag me. Just to get that out of the way, this is an adult channel and intended for adult collectors. So regardless of what I'm reviewing today, this is not intended for children. I want to make that very clear so YouTube stops flagging all of my squishy videos. And by that, you can probably guess that this box contains squishies. The main reason I stopped collecting is due to the price. I was also running out of room and just kind of losing interest because I had so many. It kind of filled the need of what I initially bought them for. Basically, I had standards, and there came a point where I just stopped caring about the squishies and having so many of them. So I did sell off a lot of them. I still have a couple listed on my Mercari, I think, and the rest I stored away. Today, I have a package from iBloom. In my squishy collecting career, I never actually purchased from iBloom directly. I thought about it multiple times, but because they are from Japan, they charge you a lot of shipping. They always had a deal that if you purchased 100 yen worth of stuff, you could get free shipping, but at the time, or any time I tried, there really wasn't enough on their website for me to purchase from them to make it worth it. Recently, that was not the case. I can't remember how I stumbled across them again. I think I saw an advertisement for one of their more recent squishy releases, and I really wanted it. So I visited their website, and lo and behold, I found multiple things that I did want to give a try. So here's the box that they sent it in. They do ship stuff DHL, that's why it's so expensive, but it did arrive in less than a week. At least once my squishies were ready, because some of the squishies that I ordered were pre-orders, so I did have to wait for those to officially release before they sent out my package. Here is how they sent it. They pack it very similarly to Ami Ami, in which they use a very thick box and then a lot of packing paper. So inside the box was my invoice, and then here you can see all of the squishies that I purchased. It's very nostalgic to see this. It was so funny opening this box initially because I did want to make sure everything came and nothing was missing from my order. So for anyone new to the fact that I used to collect these, I do want to give a warning. I get very detailed with these things, so if you feel like I'm going too slow, this may not be the video for you. Wow, I already smell some of these. The scents they have are coming out through the boxes. It smells really good. I do appreciate they had some tissue paper in between these so that the containers wouldn't get scratched. So it seems like iBloom is still very hyper aware of the fact that these things are collectibles. And if not, they're very much aware that people treat them like collectibles. Now here's everything that I purchased. If you are a longtime squishy or iBloom collector, you may notice immediately one thing if it's been a while since you've purchased from them, and that's the fact that they pretty much have transferred majority of their squishy packaging from bags to boxes, which I actually really like. I know they started doing this for their ASMR squishies back in the day because those were just so soft. A bag was not the best thing, especially since they were trying to advertise it as ASMR friendly. The crinkly bags were nice to some people, but very noisy for others. So those I remember are the ones where they started transitioning to these boxes. And I do appreciate it because they're much easier to display. And they just look nice. Look at how cool they designed these. It has their branding. It looks like actual confectionaries in a bakery. Included in my package was this card, which is really cute. And it just says arigato and something in Japanese. Welcome to the world of iBloom. May you have the best days with our cute and fluffy squishies. And they have a couple of their characters on here as well. Very cute. So I'm just going to go ahead and start, honestly, because I'm really excited to see if the quality's the same or if anything's changed. As you can tell, for those of you unaware, my favorite thing to buy squishy wise was chocolate stuff, because the chocolate scents were always delicious, except for Punimaru. Punimaru always had a disgusting chocolate smell, but chocolate was my favorite type of squishy to buy, especially if they looked like real pastries and food. But I'm gonna go ahead and start with one of these little blind eggs. Now this is from a new series, I believe, called Juratama, Jurassic Baby Dinosaur Surprise Egg. And you can see a couple of the ones you can get on the front. I do not see a tear strip. Oh, here we go. There is a tear strip on the side. Or not a strip, it's just perforated. Oh, cute. Who did I get? Oh, yes, I got the T-Rex. So cute. And the primary reason I got these is for my sister, because she loves dinosaurs. And here's the checklist. I got, oh, I actually cannot read that, so I'm not sure who I got, but it's this little T-Rex guy. Cute. They're still very much slow rising, as I remember iBloom being. Super soft. The detail, I think, is lacking a little. Like, iBloom always had very crisp paint jobs, and this feels very soft. I don't know if that makes any sense, but that's how I'm interpreting this paint job. Really, really soft. You can get them really flat, and it takes them a while to rise. And this, I think, is scented, but I mainly just get chemicals, so this is definitely one of those squishies that has to air out for you to smell exactly what it's supposed to be scented as. Cute. Let's open the second one I got. Oh, sweet. I got one of the long necks. Again, I don't know what the name is, but it's this guy right there. My camera keeps focusing in the background because there's so much going on. It's a bit of a faster rise, but it's still very soft. I don't really smell anything from this one. Not even the chemical smell. Wow, this one's really soft. I mean, the T-Rex was pretty soft too, but this one just has a smoother feeling. Like it's made out of clay or something, or marshmallow. Really cute. Okay, the next one I have is this, oh, I don't remember what these are called actually, but they kind of look like tarts, and they are taped sealed. These were taped so well, I thought you were supposed to open them from the bottom at first, but there is tape on the sides that you can undo. That's super slow. Oh God, what does that smell? It's trying to smell like something, but all I really get is chemicals. So it's not really a pleasing thing to squish, but, well, smell really, but the squish is really nice. The texture is very similar to the dinosaurs, but this one has a more doughy feel. And paint job wise, it's good. It's pretty simple. You know, it's got chocolate drizzle and some specks. And then the actual bread looking part has some texturing. And it does say iBloom on the bottom. I'm not going to open the strawberry one because it's probably the same. I just want to see if it smells like anything. Oh, okay. So this one definitely smells like strawberries or raspberries, whatever it was intended to be. It's very much a berry smell. I still get that strong smell of chemicals, but once you air it out, I'm sure it'll be fine because it does have that berry smell. And it's just as squishy. So really nice. Let's move on to one of the classics. This one is still packaged in a bag and it looks amazing. For those of you who were not squishy collectors, the bags were nice because they made them look like real food, but at the same time the adhesive on the resealed part would become less sticky over time, and the bag would crinkle obviously, so the more it was crinkled, the more old it looked. The adhesive wouldn't work. So if you were someone who really took care of your squishies, the way you would store them, you would make sure that no crinkles were made on the bag and the adhesive stayed sticky. That's how you got the most bang for your buck as a collector. And this one's hard to... I'm gonna move the dinosaurs because I think they're messing up the autofocus. Still super squishy. And the reason I got this one, because I actually own a couple of these still. I think I have a coffee and a chocolate one. But this was a banana smell, which I'd never smelled before from iBloom, so I got curious. I also just like the look of this one. Ooh, that's really soft. Super nice. It's got speckles. This one's not as doughy, I think, but a very soft and airy. And I like how you can hear the squish. It smells like something, but I don't really get that hint of banana anywhere. I mainly smell the chemicals, so this might just be another one that I have to air out. But it is very fun to squish. But if the smell doesn't come through, I'll probably just sell this one back, if anyone even buys it. I'm not sure if the squishy collecting game is still thriving or has kind of died down, because I know the stuff on my Mercari really isn't selling. I'm going to move on to a bread. I know I just did a toast, but this is like a full loaf, and I'm really excited about it. The Bagel de Prim. I don't know if I pronounced that right. Probably not. But the packaging is really cool. Very detailed and ornate. The flowers at the top. This one was really hard to see where you open it, but it does have tape on either end. However, I cut both, but you can open it from one end, so you don't have to cut the other side, because there's also tape on the sides here. Oh, this one has adhesive on the bottom, securing it to the box. So I'm assuming that means they really intended for you to use this as a display piece, but I don't like that. I understand if you really want to secure your squishy in the box, but if it's going to be sitting on a shelf on display, I don't think you need adhesive that strong. It ripped the bag it came in, and I was really worried I had ripped the squishy itself. Thankfully I didn't, but something to note. Apologies, I didn't squish that one in the bag, but look at this. It's gorgeous. Looks exactly like real bread. Oh my goodness. That's what I'm talking about. That is some good shiz. takes forever to rise back up. Now this one has the signature iBloom bread smell. It very much smells like fresh bread, very delicious smelling. It's not very strong though, but I am happy that it at least smells like something that's not chemicals. I love this one actually. It's a really nice size. It's not too big. As much as I loved squishing the really big ones in the past, they were kind of awkward to squish and awkward to bring somewhere. So I think this is a really nice size to take to like your work, and it'll be a little bit inconspicuous for the most part. You can store it somewhere, it's not huge and taking up a lot of space. It's got that doughy feeling with a hint of aeration. You can kind of see how the air escapes it as I squish it. It's just got a lot of surface area. And really satisfying to squish overall. I really like it. Great size. I'm definitely keeping this one for my personal use. Squish it all the time. And it just looks really good. The paint job is nice. It's a little more solid than I'm used to. Because towards the height of squishy collecting, I noticed iBloom was trying really hard to make these look realistic. This is a lot simpler, I think. It definitely looks a lot more fake than what I remember when everyone was trying really hard to make him look realistic. Just because there's not too much shading, but there is enough there that it still looks really good. Okay, I'm gonna stop squishing that one now. It's really fun though. Okay, I took a random break in between this video because my AC went out, so I'm gonna end up doing this. But I really want to finish this video, so I'm going to go ahead and do this in the heat. So if these squishies feel different because of this intense heat, that's just how we're going to have to work with them. So the next one, I'm not going to squish too much because I actually own one like this. It is just the regular bread version, and it does have a semi-sweet smell. But I bought this one obviously because it's chocolate, and since I can definitely display these compared to older squishies, I do at some point want to dedicate a shelf to displayed squishies, and I would much prefer to have the chocolate version on it than the regular version. So the regular version I'm probably going to sell off at some point now that I have this one. Here's the box. It more or less looks like the others. Oh, this has a card inside. Interesting. So here's a QR code, and they put a business card in it. Cool. So the back for this one is different from this. I don't really want to call this one cellophane, but it's the best way I can describe the texture of that bag. This one feels more like it's a Ziploc bag plastic. Beautiful. And just from the distance, I'm holding this away from my face, and I smell the chocolate. Oof, God, it definitely needs to be aired out because there is a strong chemical scent, but I do smell the chocolate underneath, and it smells really good. And I do apologize that I'm filming this instead of late at night. It's in the afternoon, getting towards the evening, and I hear an ice cream truck in the distance, so you may hear that, and all the chickens. So I don't see branding on this one. Normally iBloom, for those of you unaware, iBloom brands all of their squishies, so you know it's an iBloom squishy, but I don't. Oh, there we go. It's just hidden underneath the texture, but it's there. The little dinosaurs had them on the bottom as well. And I believe the bread did too. I don't think I actually checked. I was too distracted by the squish. Yeah, the bread does have the same iBloom print on the bottom of it. It was just partially hidden by the texture of the squishy itself. Interestingly enough, this one does not make much of a sound when you squish it. It's very soft and dough-like. But usually the paint job will cause some kind of sound when you squish it because it sticks to your fingers, but this one doesn't. Maybe because it's matte. But this bread was matte too, so I don't know. Maybe it's just, you know, I washed my hands or something and it's not doing much. But love it. Realistic cream bread. Yeah, that's what they call these, a cream bread. I have encountered these in the wild and eaten one, and they are delicious. Let's move on to this delicious looking croissant. Again, very similar packaging to the rest. It has the Forest Bakery branding. This one I was curious about because of the new flavor that they have. I've bought the croissant from iBloom before. It was very rare for the longest time and I had to import it from Japan, but it's one of my favorite squishies. Not only is the shape and look and texture of it really nice, the iBloom chocolate scent is very delicious. They tape these boxes so close to the edges that it's so hard to loosen it. And they also have that little iBloom card inside with a QR code. So here's a croissant, very similar packaging as the cream bread, has that similar bag. So this croissant obviously is different from my chocolate one because it looks more like regular bread, but it has a speckling of color, I'm assuming. I actually don't remember what flavor I got. I'll put it on the screen once I figure that out. But just like the cream bread, it's very soft, very similar texture. Very squishy and slow rising. I mean, it takes forever to rise, so extremely satisfying. All of these will need to definitely be aired out. You know what I think it is? I think what it also is that some of these were pre-orders. So when I ordered them on iBloom's website, they hadn't actually arrived to their warehouse yet. They were pre-orders that I had to wait for the end of the month to release before they shipped out the whole order to me. So it's possible that these are straight from the factory and that's why their plastic smell is so strong. But did y'all hear that? That's amazing. Change my lighting a bit. I hope that's better. Oop, dropped it. But yes, I love the feeling of this one. Very much reminds me of my old croissant. I wonder if it feels any different, actually. I'm tempted to pull that out and compare it. But it's getting kind of hot in my room, so I'm not going to do that. And there is branding on the bottom. Again, it's hidden by the texture, but it does say iBloom in their classic font. Look at that. This is not the strongest smelling one, but if I had to guess what scent it is, it definitely gave me a hint of coffee. So again, I'll put it on the screen what flavor it actually was, but that's my current guess as to what smell that is. Now, I have two left, and I'm debating whether or not I should even open this one because I actually have this squishy. I think I have two of this squishy. The main reason I got this one is because it comes in a box and makes it excellent for display. This is the soft bagel, by the way. But also, I noticed the mold was slightly different. So I was curious if this was any different from the ones that were released in a bag. Because the way they're describing these squishies now, it's not slow rising, it's not soft. They're describing it as chewy and fluffy, which is really funny to me, but I found it interesting. So it made me curious about the texture. I'm going to go ahead and open it so that my curiosity can be quelled. Oh wow, it's really, I want to say this is bigger than the old bagel. This is pretty sizable and thick. This is a thick bagel. Oh, the card is in there, whoops. Hint of chemicals, but by far this is the one that smells the most of chocolate. Or anything. Wow, it's very airy, like hollow feeling on the inside. The others were quite doughy. You could feel the material as you squish. This one, there's some give, as if it's slightly hollow with more air bubbles inside, but it's a very nice squish. And again, I feel like this is bigger than the other one. I could make a comparison video, but I don't know if anyone will want that. But I love it. I might actually keep this. And again, this was what I noticed from the mold. It seemed different. So maybe this is a bigger version of the old iBloom bagel. And anyone who may be thinking, duh, of course it is. I have not been updating myself with squishy news since I stopped collecting, so I would not know this information. And the branding for iBloom is a little more visible down here. But I love this. I love this bagel. It smells really good too. Definitely smells better away from your face because once you get closer, you smell the chemicals. And again, most squishies, if you're not aware, you can just air them out for a day or two and that chemical smell will go away, leaving the intended smell. Assuming it actually infused with the foam in the factory, because some squishies, even though they're intended to be scented, they're just not. I've bought multiple peaches from iBloom that just weren't very scented, and that's one of their signature products, so it was very disappointing every time. And you know, part of the reason that you would buy certain squishies is because of their scent. That's part of the collectability aspect. All right, the last medium-sized squishy is this melon bun, which I'm really excited about. I almost wish I had bought the regular version so I could compare what the regular smell is, but again, I love the chocolate stuff, so here's the melon bread chocolate version by iBloom. And again, they're describing this as chewy and fluffy. Okay, took that out of the box. It also came with the card. And again, very sizable. Very thick too. Look at how tall that is. Same with the bagel. I did feel like these are very tall. Ooh, that was nice. You could feel the air coming out of it. And again, as with most, if not all, iBloom squishies, it's what they're known for. They're very slow rising. They started that trend in squishies. Everyone wanted to be as slow rising as iBloom after that. But look at this. It's got a... I can't tell if it's just the shimmer that they splattered on top. You can kind of see gold paint, but it's not metallic gold. You could just tell it's gold, but it causes the shimmer effect on the top layer, which is really cool. And there is shading. And it smells like chocolate, that's for sure. That smells really good. It does not have a hint of plastic smell or chemicals. This one is nice. Very nice. I've always loved the realistic food bread squishies because of their organic shapes. I just think they're the most relaxing to squish. The characters, while fun, stress me out, and that's kind of why I stopped buying squishies. A lot of companies moved on to making characters, and they just did not appeal to me. I much prefer the breads and the foods. Wow, I'm just blind. So the branding is there on the bottom. It's very hard to see, even though it's smooth. It's like it's raised just slightly, but it's there. And again, the shading on the paint job continues down. So I really like how thick this one is. Very satisfying to squish down. Makes pushing the air out of it super satisfying as well. The smell is great. Texture-wise, it's great. You got the smooth bottom and the textured top. So yeah, I really love this one. All right, so that's the last of all the small to medium squishies. The last squishy that I purchased, I was surprised I actually wanted to purchase the jumbo squishies, like this cheesecake that I bought Initially, I was really excited about them because they were fun to just grab and cuddle with, but as I started using my squishies more, I realized that size is just not handy to have on your desk. It doesn't make for very comfortable squish for me, so I never really cared for the bigger sizes like this, especially when the prices were just much higher than, you know, something like this. This on sale could be like $10, maybe $12, at retail $15 at the most. These would run you about minimum $30, and to me that was way too much for a piece of foam, even though it was painted and detailed and packed very beautifully. But this is the iBloom cheesecake. I did purchase one of these before, I think. I can't remember if I got the regular version or if I got a chocolate version, but I want to say that I've bought this before. It says World Kitchen on the top. This cheesecake is rich, fluffy, soft, and smells so sweet. Since it's super soft, you will not get tired of touching it. iBloom staff recommended. So my main curiosity is whether or not the formula has changed. Because from what I remember buying a cheesecake, it wasn't the most slow rising thing ever compared to other iBloom squishies. So I just didn't care for it, really. That's why I bought it. They refer to it as a souffle. So I want to see if the formula has changed. And here it is in all its glory. I'm going to have to move the box because it's huge. But it did come with the card, so this is definitely a new release by iBloom because it looks like all their newer squishies are putting this card in, which I think is nice. It's a nice little touch. Wow, this thing is humongous. So, wow. Okay, that's pretty good. It felt really airy. I remember these cheesecakes being very stiff to squish, but not this. It's very airy, super soft, and dough-like. This one I still think I'm probably going to sell back, and hopefully I can. I'm not sure how popular squishies are, but I do like the texture of it. The smooth top with the textured, realistic bottom, and then the paint top at the bottom to give it that toasty look. Super cute. Yeah, see how I kind of have to use both hands, and not even then. It's very comfortable to squish just because it's so huge, but it's still really nice. I mean, these are popular for a reason. I'm sure a lot of people loved getting that full squish in. Oh, this smells pretty good actually. It smells like cream. I don't want to say vanilla because as a flavor on its own, I'm not the biggest fan of vanilla, so I don't specifically know how that smells, but it has a very nice cream and milk smell. Well, not milk. I don't smell milk. I smell cream, sweet cream, and it smells good, really good actually. Very dainty of a smell. So really nice. I'll have to backtrack through some of my videos to see whether or not this formula did change, because I don't remember liking the formula for these all that much compared to this. Maybe I won't sell it back. I'll give it to somebody who may enjoy the squish. But really nice. Because I think majority of my friends just never understood what the appeal was for me. They know I collected these things, but I don't know if they understood. And if they did, they never really got to experience it. But this is nice. Alright everyone, and that is it for my squishy haul today. It was very fun to go back to my roots, so to speak. I miss opening squishies, to be quite honest, but at the state that I'm collecting things, there's just no room for these things. However, I am excited to replace some of the ones that I have in my current collection. with the ones with these cases. That way I can actually display them somewhere. That was one of the biggest issues for me. A lot of people came up with very creative ideas on how to display them, but none of them ever really worked for me due to my living conditions. And even now, my walls are very fragile. I can't really nail or screw things on there very easily. So for me, push pins are the way to go, or command hooks. And these things really need shelves, which I don't have many of that aren't already occupied. But other than that, for any of you curious, the squishy community, from what I am aware of, is still active on YouTube and other social media. It's just not as active as it was. It's not a trend. Like, you know, slime eventually became, and fidget toys became. I think fidget toys are still in, and squishies were kind of lumped into that. But something that always annoyed me is that people would review the really cheap squishies from AliExpress instead of the actual reason that people were collecting these things. The reason I personally love them is because I loved the fact that they looked like bread. The first squishy I think I ever encountered was a Rilakkuma toast loaf, or I think it was one of the Breado buns. I was very fascinated by the fact that this piece of foam looked like real bread, and instead of this stiff imitation food that you would find to be used as decoration in stores like furniture shops, you could actually squish it and play with it, and it was very, very relaxing. And when I heard that they were scented, I was sold. It was very hard to find them initially. I think I discovered them, and then a couple years went by after I realized I couldn't buy them because they were a Japan exclusive. Eventually I rediscovered them, and this was at a point where I already knew how to buy things straight from Japan, and conveniently other people were creating shops to sell them straight from the US. And it kind of exploded from there. They're more or less the reason I created my channel, because I really liked their ASMR aspect and I wanted to make ASMR videos, but also because I really wanted to start reviewing them because there were just a lack of reviews that I wanted to see on YouTube. A lot of the things people didn't really cover, like how slow rising they are, how strong the smell is. You know, people would unbox them, show them off, say they love them, and that was it. So I really wanted to give a detailed review of them when I first started my videos. YouTube has been flagging them throughout the years, so a lot of those videos probably don't have comments available or anything, which is unfortunate, but hopefully my announcement at the beginning of this video will mean YouTube will leave me alone for this one. The only other thing I have to review in this video is iBloom's shop itself. Again, as I've said, I've never bought from iBloom before, even during my collecting phase. It was really something I wanted to do because I liked to review independent shops and how they handled customer service, how they shipped their items, things like that. I have to say I'm really happy with iBloom's shop. The problem I had in the past was that there was never enough on their shop, meaning stuff sold out so quickly that they just didn't have enough inventory to cover shipping, because if you buy over a certain amount, they cover the shipping cost, which is very beneficial because shipping from Japan is expensive. What's nice as well is that when they cover the shipping costs, they send it to you via EMS, or was it DHL? I think it was DHL actually, which is a fast express service. So once your package is shipped, it gets to you in around a week. This time around, I was able to purchase enough to get that benefit and receive items that I actually wanted. So I'm really happy about that. The prices were amazing. I think my go-to shops when I was collecting were places like Charms LOL, which is still active but doesn't really sell squishies that much anymore. They've kind of moved on to kawaii goods and candy and stationery as well. Creamy Candy was very popular, but I never bought from them because their shipping was outrageous. Delightful Boutique was a favorite of mine because they did offer points that you could deduct from the full amount, but they changed their awards program, so I was not able to do that towards the end of my collecting phase, and I just stopped buying from them because of that. It just wasn't worth it with the added shipping cost. Because you're buying straight from iBloom, the prices are pretty much the cheapest they can be, outside of sales, of course, and secondhand, which you can do through Surugaya. With the exception of the cheesecake, I think all of these were under $10, if not around $10. I don't think any of these, maybe the Bata de Prime, but I did find these squishies in those common shops like Delightful Boutique and even Charms LOL, and considered buying them from there, but not only were the prices higher, which makes sense because they are also buying from iBloom, so they have to mark up the prices to make their money back. But with the shipping and everything, it was just significantly higher to buy from them compared to buying from iBloom. So I'm really happy that I was able to buy all this at the cheapest price I could find and receive it in a timely manner. iBloom did a great job packing it. They do the standard Japanese paper in a very thick box and everything, which doesn't bother me because they paid for shipping and not me. So overall, 10 out of 10 for iBloom's online shop. The only thing you do have to look out for is the fact that they have pre-orders on their shop. I initially did not notice that when I was setting up my cart, and once I was going through the checkout process did I notice that some of them were pre-orders. And they do have a warning on there for the items that are pre-orders. What's nice is that they have a date of an estimate when that's going to be in stock, so you're not sitting there waiting for months wondering where's your products. Once that date was passed, I think it maybe took them a week to pack my stuff and ship it out. I did receive a tracking number, but DHL didn't really message me up until it arrived in the United States, which is pretty typical, to be quite honest, of DHL and all those express services. So overall, I really enjoyed this experience, and I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you're curious and would like to purchase your own squishies featured in this video, I will leave links to them in the description. Hopefully they're all still in stock. A couple of these were selling out, and thankfully they did not sell out before I could get them. But I'll link them anyway, just in case. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see y'all in my next video.